Today I want to share with you what our church has been able to accomplish in 2020. Now, all thanks goes to God because it seems that He brought together the right people with the right passions and the right expertise so that we could overcome the obstacles that we had to face in 2020. Now, we tried to thank everybody we could think of in our letter to Westlight that's found in section 1 of your ASM 2020 booklet, but the names that you see there is not a complete list. But it should give you an idea of how many people it took to make the adjustments that we had to make in order for Westlight to thrive. So in the next few minutes, I want to share with you some of the accomplishments that Westlight was able to achieve in 2020. Now the numbers I'm about to give you, you're going to totally find it all in the booklet in section 2. But the reason why I want to tell you in person is because behind each number, there's stories, there's names, there's sacrifices, and there's a lot of unseen work that goes into it. Now you'll notice that I'm not going to go over every single figure that you'll find in the booklet. So if you have any questions about those numbers, feel free to contact me and I would love to share with you some of the stories. So without further ado, here are some of those numbers. First, we have 84 volunteers. In a church our size, that's roughly about 100 people, including children. 84 people who volunteer regularly is unheard of. This is one of the reasons why Westlight is such an amazing church. By chance, if you haven't volunteered at our church yet, feel free to reach out to any of the pastors or maybe somebody you know in the church that's already volunteering to see how you can participate in the life of our church. Our next number is life groups. We have 105 people participating in life groups. Now, you've heard me say this before, but our church is not about Sunday service. The core of who we are is in life groups because that's where iron sharpens iron. That's where we get to have deep discussions. That's where we could have disagreements. And that's where we also learn how to love one another. I am so thrilled to find out that we actually have more people in life groups than we have people who show up on a Sunday morning. And that's a win. Now, the next number I want to go over is the We Care packages we delivered so far. As of today, we've delivered 100 packages. In case you don't know the story, when the pandemic started, a group of people rose up and said, we want to care for the people who are going to be affected negatively during the stay-at-home order. Now, it's important to note that the hope of this ministry is to dissolve by the end of this year in hopes that the 9 life groups that we have will pick up where they left off. I think this is great. Over the years, we discovered that the reason why people are invited to church is because they like the preacher or they like the worship team or something else about Sunday service. But we also found out the reason people stay at Westlight is because of the people. And the best place for people to meet people and interact with them was after service at Refresh. So when the pandemic hit, we had to find out a way for you guys to interact, and that's when Dana came up with this idea called Refresh at Home tables. And this year alone, we have 30 unique tables. Some of them are recurring tables like Sermon After Party, Prayer Adventure, Conversations with Lamp. But we've also had tables that were different every week, such as listening to stories and testimonies, learning how to cook, doing some crafts, talking about sporting teams, talking about Star Wars. So thank you so much for the people who have taken the leadership role of leading these tables. Now, in the past, we've had every ministry give a report as to how they're doing, and then you guys could read about it at the end of the year. But what we discovered upon review is that the better way of doing this is to spotlight one ministry each month. Well, this year we've been able to spotlight 10 ministries. I hope this has been very informational for you and that it's been inspiring you to find out what kind of ministries Westlight offers. And this one is my personal favorite. Leading up to 2020, the pastors got together and came up with this one tangible goal, which is to collectively as a church produce 1,200 hours of volunteer services to our community. We called it 1,200 hours of experiencing heaven together. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, when the pandemic hit, I was a little skeptical, a little doubtful that we're going to actually reach that goal. Well, I am so humbled to announce that as of today, we have surpassed our goal. We actually reached 1,305 hours of volunteer services. Now, we still have 2 weeks left in the year, so please don't stop blessing our communities. I want to see how high we can make it. Now, up until now, we've been talking about physical ministry. Now I want to get into talking about digital ministry, our multimedia ministries. First, let's talk YouTube. Now, as you know, when we moved everything that was physical to virtual, the first thing we looked at was using YouTube. Now, this was the right decision because YouTube is the most accessed video site in the world, and you don't need to create an account to view it. Now, what I'm about to say is wild. In 2020 alone, our YouTube channel has gotten over 14,500 views and over 160 subscribers. This means every time we release new content, there's 160 people who's going to know that, hey, I need to tune in. There's something new for me to watch. Now, if you tuned in with us on Sunday mornings for Westlight Live, you'll notice that we get anywhere between 50 and 70 people who tune in live. But what we've discovered is that more people tune in for the rebroadcast of it once that video is posted on YouTube. So I don't know if you've been counting, but this is actually our 40th Westlight Live. And in the 40 Westlight Lives we've had close to 7,000 devices tuning in. All right, let's move on to westlight.org, our website. In 2020, we've had over 10,000 people visit our website, which is higher than usual. And as you can see from this, it's not all from this country. We have some people from across the seas who's been tuning into our website. Now within the US, most of the people who visit our website is from California, 74%. Now the number one reason why people come to our website is to download our sermons. And that number has grown exponentially in this last year. We have close to 18,000 downloaded sermons. As I mentioned earlier, these numbers don't tell the whole story. There's worship teams, prayer ministries, board members, greeters, multimedia people who all work behind the scenes, donating their time and resources to make all this happen. What this tells me is that all of you are using your God-given talent and gifts to bless the world so we could all experience heaven together. Yes, 2020 was a crazy year and we all wish it was a little different. But I am so proud that Westlight adapted and never gave up on fulfilling the commandment of God, which is to love God and love others. Thanks to you, in 2020, we were able to spread a little bit more heaven on this earth. So thank you so much.